Welcome to selfdiscoverywisdom.com, formerly known as Self-Discovery Media. On these podcasts, you're going to hear people who speak from the heart. They've taken the journey in life. Many things have happened to them, but they've changed it to happening for them. And in their strength, their courage, they've discovered their abilities and their wisdom, and they are now sharing it here with you. Do enjoy each show. We bring it to you with love and knowing that it's going to help you on your journey of life. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Choose Positive Living right here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. I'm your host, Sarah Troy. My guest today is Celeste Walmsley. Have you ever thought about having some laser surgery? Have you got some hair you would like to get rid of? Is this just something about your body you would just like to tweak that, a skin and laser studio could do for you? Are you on Vancouver Island near the Qualicum Beach, or you want to take a holiday here and get some stuff done? Well, this is what we're talking about today. Celeste grew up with the CAH, Congenital Adrenal Hyperplasia, and PCOS, I'm probably pronouncing these wrong, Polycystic Ovaries Syndrome. And it left challenges and embarrassment. Please pronounce this name for me. What's the name, Celeste?
Hirsutism. Yeah.
There you go.
Excess body hair.
Excess body hair. There you go. The 5 o'clock shadow, a pigmentation of hair loss on her head. And she wanted to help others who had the same issue or have been negatively impacted by them. And for this reason, her approach to providing laser hair removal services became the empathic kind, accepting and encouraging for clients to feel cared for, understood, not judged, and ready to show the world the beauty they possess. She now specializes with trans women, women dealing with PCOS, facial or body hair. The Laser Skin Studio, award-winning boutique clinic, and the most specialized laser studio in Qualicum Beach with advanced expertise in laser hair removal, laser skin rejuvenation. And because of her own journey with excess body hair, she wanted the opportunity to start a business where she could work from home, a home studio, her own hours, and do help freeze and start her own business. She wanted both accessible and affordable without compromising on excellence. And this was the standard in which she was not willing to compromise. She's all about the human touch. She builds lasting relationships, not just client files. The client's needs come first because she truly cares. Her clients generally matter to her. She understands from her own experience how deeply personal body hair can be. And no matter of hair or make you feel uncomfortable, she's willing to serve you. She created this beautiful neurodivergent and LGBTQIA 25, a judgment-free and sensory-friendly space where she feels safe for anyone who enters to be authentic and their natural selves. She is comfortable with others being unmasked around her, and she actively does laser for clients with ADHD and AUDHD, autism, or Tourette's. In other words, she's here to serve you no matter what your obstacle is. And this is not where we're looking at people getting plastic surgery to try and hide themselves, or disguise themselves or running away from themselves. We've all got something that we wish we could tweak, or we have an issue with. Excess of hair is something that, a lot of people do have. And it's like, well, I can't shave it. That makes it come back more. I've tried waxing. I've tried this. I've tried that. And all it does is get bushier. And we've all got a certain area that we have a challenge of and would like to get rid of it. But also, as you say, with skincare, but also dealing with the trans community. One of the problems they have in the transitioning is the hair. And they're on particular hormone replacement, etc., and it can make the hair even grow harder. And they want to go to a place where they're embraced for their journey and not judged for it. And that's kind of hard and challenging in itself. So welcome to the show, Celeste.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy to be here.
So obviously this came from your own challenge. And for anybody not listening, yes, Celeste is bald and owns it. She's Sinead over here. That's perfectly okay. And, it's obviously growing up. Did you have this problem growing up? Were you bald from as a child?
No, no. Actually, the recent, I shouldn't say the thinning of the hair started probably when I was about 17. So we could start to see it. I had like a little sort of half moon that happens. My graduation pictures, you can start to see it. But I shaved my head so not this past November, but just about a year ago. So the November before.
Hmm.
So that's the first time that I've actually gone with just shaving my head, because I had lost so much hair.
Hmm.
So I was getting into the situation of wearing a topper, so it's like a man's toupee.
Yes.
Having like a headband, this velvet headband that I would clip it to, and then make sure that my hair had to be dyed the same, and make sure that the wind didn't flip this part up, so I had to pin that there, and just make sure that everything was,
Yeah.
perfect every time before I would go out. And I finally got tired. I think it's because I'm in perimenopause. I thought, I'd get invited
Exactly.
out, and honestly, it would be like, well, I don't mind, the showering and getting the makeup on, but I'm like, seriously, having to
Mm.
fiddle with my hair so much and be so concerned about it that I just decided I'm just going to shave it. Um,
Good.
Also, even just with having people surprise visit,
Hmm.
and I really I lost all the hair in the front, really. So to not have I used to wear hair rags or whatever, like little things, and if somebody came to my door and I wasn't prepared, I was too embarrassed. Like it was
Yeah,
stressful for me. So it actually relieved a lot of stress to go, just shave it,
exactly.
just shave
Own
it.
it, shave
Yeah,
it, get rid of
shave
it.
it.
Why put yourself through all that stress,
Yeah.
right? You know?
Yeah. People are
I,
less shocked to see a bald woman than a really thinning hair woman. I looked more disheveled, to be honest. So,
and
um,
also all the assumptions. Is she going through chemotherapy? Is she going through this? Do we
yeah,
address the subject? Has she got cancer?
yeah.
And this way, no, I'm just bald.
Well, with this, I get the sympathy look sometimes because women
Uh-huh.
use their hair for cancer, right? For when they're going through chemo. So, but a lot of times I just address it and go, no, 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 I'm healthy. It's all good. Just thinning. So yeah, so I've had that. Um, that I was able to hide with extensions, with wigs. I found wigs I would just get very twitchy. It was like wearing a hat
Mm,
all day.
I
So
can't wear a
yeah,
hat.
the toppers helped for a while, and so I mean I've been covering it up for, gosh, 30 years. I got
Yeah,
tired
and
of
that's 30 years of just like stress,
mm,
right? Worrying if the wind is going to blow. And we live on the Vancouver Island. We get a lot of wind, folks.
right?
So,
Yeah,
having something like that, constantly worrying, is it going to blow? Is something going to happen? Is somebody going to knock it? It's just like, who needs that stress? And
yeah.
whereas I think in the past, it really would have been a stigma and this and that. Now it's like, oh, okay. It is what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
And
And I,
this,
I think it comes down to the person who has done it.
yes,
If I own it and I'm not uncomfortable with it, most people
yes.
are just, oh, okay.
Hmm.
I think that's what I really needed to be ready to own it. So because
Hmm.
I had about around COVID, because my hair person was on the mainland.
Hmm.
So, but I remember at one point she said, your hair's getting too thin to attach the hair to it. So I had a big cry with my husband, and we kind of
Hmm.
looked at like maybe what, tattooing my head or whatever. And at that time, I was not ready to shave it. Like
Yeah.
I needed a mourning process and a courage process to get to that
Hmm.
point that I was like, I don't care anymore. Just shave it. I'll deal with it. I'll own it. And I think I'm just reflecting right now. I had a good year that I still look in the mirror and go, oh, right, I'm bald. I'm still, I'm
Yes.
still getting used to it, which is funny because it's like, because I didn't have a lot of hair. So I still like, I don't feel any colder, if that makes sense, other than
Mm,
like
yeah.
in the wind. So it really is weird. It's like, I just kind of like, oh, right. I don't have hair. So, but I think that too, with the facial hair that I had. So
Hmm.
congenital adrenal hyperplasia, that's the CAH that you mentioned, and polycystic ovaries syndrome, they both cause excess testosterone. So
Right.
they're causing either the hair loss or the excess body hair. And I think for the facial hair, what was very traumatizing was, especially when I was dating, don't touch my face. Because
Right.
I would be shaving and it'd be prickly, or there'd be a moment that it would be prickly. It was dry from
Yeah.
all the things I was doing to it. And so I had a rule: don't touch the face, don't touch the hair.
The hair will fall off, and you'll be file your nails on
Right?
the
Or
chin hair.
the
Yeah.
extensions would,
Yeah.
would get pulled, right? So I think also just being able to get the laser done on my face,
Hmm.
and addressing the hair part, I can connect with my intimate
Yes.
partner.
Exactly. Yes, you're not on guard.
No.
right? And we shouldn't be on guard anyway, but still we're women and we want to look the best and feel the best that we can,
Yeah.
whether women or men. As I said, we have transgender, they're going through that. And of course, hair, they could be extremely hairy beforehand and they've got all of that to deal with. And,
Yeah.
so, whatever the reason is, it's how do we feel? And, now, as you said, you've gone bald, you own it, that's it. But obviously, the facial hair, it wasn't just a question of looking, but of course, facial hair could be bristly. And so, not very kind of soft and feminine. And it does make you conscious when you have these things. And I know we're meant to override it and all of that, but still, if we have the opportunity to look the best that we can, why shouldn't we?
Yeah. And feel, if you're wanting to be feminine and hair free, like to feel that.
Yeah,
Honestly, to have the facial hair, I did not feel feminine.
right.
And I actually had pigmentation, so brown. So that's what I talk about, the 5 o'clock shadow. So I had hair from the cheekbones down onto the neck. And so I had pigmentation here and here. So it gave me 5 o'clock shadow, even though I was tweezing.
Right.
So there was that to cover up with makeup. So, and it's so
Yes.
funny because I haven't had to do it for years, but I had to wear makeup on my neck. So I couldn't wear white shirts.
Right.
I even dark shirts, your makeup would rub off it. All
Yes.
your coat collars,
Mm,
makeup, cover up. Like there's that type of thing too. So yes, you can hide it, but then there's other circumstances and things like that that you're having to deal with. So with the trans women that I serve, like they have that issue too, that they're covering up right now. But I think with them there's this hope, because with their hormones it does help slow down the hair growth, but they get to speed up the process by having the laser hair removal. So it's exciting to see the transformation for me. I know
yeah.
you're excited too, but
Right. And like while they're trying to be feminine, I have interviewed somebody who had transitioned and like for her, once the completion was there, it's like, well, now I'm not in between. I am now a woman.
mm,
It's like, how do I dress? Because
mm,
it's a different identity altogether. How do I
mm,
dress? How do I look? What, the other things I need to face. And it's no longer becoming, it's become. And when they've become, they wholeheartedly want to embrace where they are without, a 5 o'clock shadow or something else happening.
yeah, yeah. I really do appreciate the aspect of helping a person feel authentic, whatever that
Yeah.
is. So, and some, like with the skin rejuvenation side that I do, I'm removing blemishes and things on the face. Again, it's just bringing them back to square one, like
Yes.
where they were. So
Baby
similarly,
face.
yeah, and similarly for women like me, who, in my teens, I was sort of fine. I'm trying to think, but when it picked up, it was like, oh my gosh, I didn't have, like, women don't have this kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was like bringing me back to an authentic feminine. And for the transgendered women, it's bringing them to the new them.
Yes. A
They're a new
discovery.
them.
Mm.
Yeah. So it's really nice that I actually get to see a rebirthing and being part of that.
Exactly. Exactly. And, again, it's a lot of people think, that being gay or, being a woman trapped in a man's body or vice versa is a choice. It isn't. It is the way that you were designed, and somewhere along the line, the body you're in didn't match who you are on the inside. And the fact that we can today allow someone to become who they're meant to be through surgery, through the hormone pills, for everything else, is who are we to deny it? Who are we to judge?
Yeah.
Right? It's all they're wanting to do is be their authentic selves, and the authentic self doesn't match the exterior. It's the interior. I am a RuPaul um drag racing fan, and I love it. And some of them, my God, just so beautiful. And some of them you can see is the still kind of the man in there, that it's the makeup that makes them beautiful, and some of them that they're just there completely. But I'm
Mhm.
sure that they have gone through, whether they've gone for the transgender or they're just wearing a lot of makeup in their drag. Do they want to have the shadow coming through? Do they want any of that? No, they don't.
Mhm.
So it's,
Yeah.
embracing who we are, but having the assistance along the way to match what's in the inside on the outside.
Well, and a safe place.
Yes. Yes.
I'm privileged in a way that I haven't had to experience that. And it's frightening what they have to go through, and how they can be judged and how they can be threatened and that
Mm,
type of thing. And I really want, and it really, this does, um, like this is also for trans women, but it's for everybody. Like when
yes,
you come into my studio, I don't care your size. I don't
yes.
care if you're senior, if you're a teen. I don't care your religion.
Hmm.
There's no judgment. You have a need that I can serve you. I will serve you.
Right,
And so I wish all places were like that. I wish I didn't have to, mention that, yes, everybody's welcome. But what I found is that for trans women, and really I don't see trans men because they don't want to remove hair, they're trying to grow it, right? So
right.
unless they were coming for blemishes, but for the hair side, it's trans women. I
Mm,
have a client that comes from Victoria, and
yeah,
I'm in Qualicum. That is a 2.5 to 3 hour drive
right.
one way. So it's a
Hmm.
5 hour drive that she comes out to get her laser done. And she's so grateful. And I'm grateful that she trusts me and that there's a safe place for her to come to so that there's no judgment. I'm excited with her when the changes are
Mm,
happening. And she's kind of a lifer. She said, she goes, like, once they're done with the face, she wants to keep going on the body. And
right.
so, I have several trans clients, and it's the same thing, is that this is sort of what they can't hide. So this is usually the primary area. And that was the
Yeah,
same with me, is when I was getting laser done years ago, it was like, I can only afford the face. So let's do
yes.
the face, right? But obviously when that's done, then they can move, to other areas that they want to remove hair. It's, but yeah, I'm saddened that there aren't safe places, but I'm grateful and I'm proud that I'm a safe place.
Right. Whether it's trans, whether it's somebody with the excess hair, I think there are so many people that hide because, they just don't like what they've got. They don't feel comfortable with it. And somebody, well, it looks okay to me, but that's you. And it may be, for whatever reason, not every chest hair is nice, soft, and fluffy. It could be very bristly and uncomfortable. It could
Mhm,
cause rashes. It could cause this or that. There are
mhm,
some people, even with shaving, that it causes, some skin disturbance. And, it's if they have a choice you can remove it forever, and I don't have to deal with this,
mhm.
like, hallelujah. I'll come whatever many times I need to do it because I now know it's there for life. I don't have to worry about it anymore. So I
Yeah.
think we have to honor whatever people's choices are and let them know they do have a choice. If you've got unwanted hair somewhere, there is a choice.
Mhm.
But you were also talking about acne and blemishing. Well, so what do you do for that?
So that's the other, the machine that I have does the two, so which is great. So the one side is the laser hair removal, and then the other side is laser skin rejuvenation. And so what it does is it can help with different conditions on the face. So anything that sort of can be removed or dulled. It's not surgical, so, and it's
Right.
not painful. Basically, what I can do is I can help with brown spots. So those can be that can be sun damage, that can be liver
Mm,
spots, like the body's
mm,
creating them. They call them age spots, liver spots, sun damage, same thing. And then rosacea, if you have
yes.
excessive pink. So I've got
Mm,
blush on right now, but basically somebody where their face is pink all the time.
right.
They can get it on the cheeks, they can get it on the nose, the chin,
Mm,
sometimes up here. And so I can fade that. I can do veins. So
hmm.
most people, they can have them on the cheeks or the nose and that type of thing. So any of those veins can be shortened so that we don't see them anymore. And then it helps with fine lines and wrinkles. It just helps plump up the face. So the machine does quite a few things. And how it helps with acne, which I just find so fascinating, is the heat that comes from the machine actually destroys the bacteria on the skin.
Ah,
And so what happens when we have acne, when people are more acne prone, we produce a lot of oil, so sebum
yes.
on the face. And if there's no bacteria to mix with it and go, ooh, we'll make a pimple,
Yeah.
uh, they're less likely to have the pimples. And so what we're finding is when the bacteria is removed and cleared off, there's less breakouts or no breakouts. If
Hmm.
the breakouts do come, the pimple's smaller, it's not as deep, and it usually goes away a lot quicker. So that's usually when somebody has more moderate
Hmm.
acne. But the adults that I've had who have adult acne, we usually don't have a lot. And what
Yeah.
I found with the adults that have come in, it's cleared it up.
And
So
what about, the acne scarring, which some people have had terrible acne and it kind of leaves some scarring afterwards.
yeah. So with the pitting, so where it makes little divots and
Hmm.
things like that, that's where the collagen production can help. It'll help plump it up. So basically, so I'm going to try and do this in the camera. So basically, it's like a little, like a divot. And so what the collagen does over time, it kind of starts to fill it and flatten it out.
Flatten it out.
So that'll help with those. And then if there's any sort of red, purple scarring that way, it helps fade it back to sort of the white or the skin color, depending if it's an actual scar, it'll go to the white. But if it's sort of the acne that's just sort of damaged the skin, it can lighten it back to their skin tone. So it helps in two ways for people with acne.
I mean, so many people get this acne, and it's quite devastating because it happens as a teenager. And then kind of when they've got through the process and maybe don't have the acne anymore, they have the scars. And
Yes.
then they feel scarred for life. And that's self-esteem. It's not that they can't live with it, it's just how other people live with it.
Right.
That really is the scarring.
Mhm.
And if we could all just accept each other, but we're not in that world. And so having something that can smooth it back out and give you your face back, so to speak, then
Mm.
how wonderful of boosting one's self-esteem.
Yeah. One of the sayings that I say now, especially when I do network meetings, and there are business people where we're solopreneurs, we're the face of our business, is I just say I help you put your best face forward.
Hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now you talked about wrinkles,
Hmm.
right? Now, obviously I'm 71. I've got some wrinkles under my eyes. And of course you see all these time creams and this and that, and a lot of it is stuff that just swells the skin to
Mm.
make it look like there aren't any wrinkles. But then if you don't keep using it, it just is going to go down again because it's swelling the skin really,
Mm.
not really getting rid of the wrinkles.
Right.
So
Yeah.
what kind of thing do you do for wrinkles? And is it different under the eyes as it is as opposed to the rest of the face?
With the eyes, I cannot treat around the eyes where the goggles are. So
Hmm.
obviously for your vision to protect your eyes. So as long as it's sort of outside of the goggles, I can work with that. But basically how it works, so it's similar to the acne pits. Fine lines and wrinkles are sort of like little valleys. And so what the machine does is it helps you with your collagen production, and it's cumulative. So it's not instant because
Mm-hmm.
as we age, so after about 40, we start losing our collagen production. And it's just so the skin gets more lax. So we get sort of the pooling at the ears, and then we can get
Hmm.
the little drops sort of by the chin. Those are sort
Hmm.
of the two, yeah, those are the two
Fangs.
areas that it kind of shows. So what it does, it helps plump up your skin again, to where it almost it'll pull those two areas in, and it's a natural thing. So with the fine lines and wrinkles, what it does is it slowly fills them up. But because as we age, we don't produce the collagen anymore, it will revert if you stop treatments. So,
Right.
really, for my clients who are a more senior or have more of the lines, they end up where this is sort of like getting their monthly facial. They come
Hmm.
in and it's keeping it at bay, and it's helping reduce and thin out their fine lines and their wrinkles. So I'm always honest about that. I don't think there's an instant fix for those,
Right.
other than like shaving the face, I guess, and getting a new layer of skin.
Hmm.
But it's quite lovely to see the changes, and they're gradual enough that it's not like you have this like horrible facelift where people are like,
Yes.
"Wow, you got work done." So I
And you
appreciate
can't near the alerts.
that. You're like, "I'm totally happy. I'm totally happy."
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a lovely I mean, it's pampering, but it's also taking care of the skin. What it also does is it actually sloughs off old skin cells
Yes.
when you get the treatment. So you'll end up having this fresher and fresher face so that you can absorb your creams better. You don't have that chalky kind of look,
Mm.
dull look. And that's the natural part of doing that. So you don't even have to do like the facial scrubs anymore. You just come and see me. And it just helps with freshening up the face and making sure it's in the best condition that it can be. So
And as you get older, yes, you get the jowls, you get this and that, but very often, you'll get a frown mark.
oh,
Right?
the 11, those
Yes,
two.
yeah, or like the long one. I got
Yeah,
kind of the long one in here,
yeah.
and it's I do remember having some acupuncture for that at one time, and I was really surprised. It smoothed it all out, right? And it lasted a very, very long time. And not so bad, but it is still there a bit. But we all have something with this damn frown mark. Like a little bit of wrinkles is part of the age, but when it's an obvious frown mark, so
Yeah.
you want to have something that kind of just kind of gets otherwise you look angry.
Yeah. Most people get the two.
Yes,
We call
yes.
them the 11s.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, so those, yeah, those I can definitely target because they're between the eyebrows. I have to avoid hair, right?
Yes.
Because I can zap the hair. And then obviously avoid the eye. So I can't do underneath or like really, really close to the eye, but I can definitely do in between and then the rest of the face.
Right. So, I mean, yes, this is what I'm talking about, being able to kind of, just like we are looking after our body from the inside out, or we're exercising, we're using the right creams and the right nutritions. This is just kind of the facial, getting rid of minor problems that do kind of hit you and that you are conscious about, but at the same time can just maintain a youthful look. It's not like plastic surgery and it's not like completely reconfiguring your face. You see this, suddenly, I mean, like I would say Heidi Klum, like on Project Runway, she was always looked so youthful. Then she was absent for a number of years and comes back, and now her face is literally like
Mhm.
this. And it's like you actually said you don't do plastic surgery. You only
Right.
do Botox. Well, somebody over Botoxed you, girl.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so
Nothing's moving.
this is different to Botox, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not injecting anything. There's no
Mm,
chemicals. There's nothing going into your skin that I'm injecting. It's basically a heat wand that gets placed on your face. Basically, the procedure would be that I put ultrasound gel on your face to protect your face,
mhm.
to keep the skin cool, and to also help the laser. But basically, it's a wand that gets placed on your face throughout and has different settings for different conditions. And
Right.
so a lot of times people leave and it looks like I've not done anything. So like somebody could go and finish their day and nobody would be like, oh, did you get something
Yes.
done? When it comes to veins and stuff, a little bit, sometimes it can be a little bit pink where I've done that.
Hmm.
But all the other treatments, like really, people would not know. And so that's nice. So that to me tells you that it's non-intrusive,
Right.
and it's quite gentle for the skin. Same thing with the laser hair removal. It's nobody would really tell, and it doesn't hurt. It's a
Mm.
bit of discomfort, but it doesn't hurt. So I appreciate that because I've had laser years ago in a doctor's office for the facial hair removal, facial hair, yes,
Yes.
removal, and it was painful because it
Mm.
was a laser. This is an
Hmm.
intense pulse light machine, and it converts light energy into heat to then damage like the hair follicle in that particular case. And it's a lot milder than what they've been. So it's
I
nice.
mean, through technology, things have had so much advancement, haven't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if for some people, like, oh God, no, I had something done once, I'll never do it again. It was horrific, and it's like, no, there's new ways of doing it now, and that's where we've got to do our own due diligence when we're looking for somebody, when we're looking for ideas. Look for the testimonies. Look, the people that have had it before. What are they actually using? What is their system?
Yeah.
And because there are an awful lot of people out there, unqualified sharks, that have, some sort of machine they have no idea how to use. And next thing you know,
Right.
you've got a scar you can't get rid of.
Yeah. I had a recent client that she came in and I have my procedure for my consultations. I have a lot of questions that I need to ask to make sure that it's safe for them, that they're a
Mhm.
candidate, but there's some health conditions. Like we're not supposed to do laser on anybody who has cancer.
Right.
Right. And there has to be, I have to have a letter from the doctor, at least our 2 year gap. And I don't know if she was put off by it, but she goes, nobody's ever asked me all this stuff. I said, and I kind of stopped and I said, it's really important because
Hmm.
I need to make sure that you're safe.
Hmm.
So where you're saying the sharks ones that just get the machine and go, oh yeah, I can totally use
Yeah.
this. Because I had looked into, I know I had looked into teeth whitening, but I think it was the body sculpting. And the body sculpting, I cannot use it if somebody has a pacemaker.
Right.
So if they didn't know and they didn't do
Yes.
their due diligence, like so I am surprised how these other places are like just sign here, come on in. So at
Yeah,
least
sign and I'm not responsible for what
yeah,
I'm about to do to you. And if
totally.
you've got one of those type of things,
Yeah,
run.
yeah. So at least I know if anybody comes into my studio, I'm not going to serve you if you're going to be, at risk. And
Hmm.
I would let them know why and then say, okay, come
Yes.
and see me after, that type of thing. So yeah, that kind of surprised me. And she had come from the mainland. So, and I grew up in the mainland. So it might be just different protocol. There's so much competition that some people
Yeah.
get the machine and do their thing. So I can't speak to that, but I speak to what I do. So
Yes.
they get a nice, thorough consultation to make sure that we're both safe. So yeah.
But also that then gives them, oh, well, I was also going for XY treatment or going for something else. And it's like they didn't ask me these questions. And what it does is empower the person to, address this type of thing for anything else that they're doing.
That's
Are
what
you
I'm,
aware I have this? Are you aware this or that? Because, there's a lot of people that would just take your money and do it without the consequences. So,
yeah. I mean, and that's what I hope that that happened for that client, that she went, oh, I realized I was just sort of underserved, and
mm.
this is thorough, and maybe they should have been like that. But you're right; it can educate her to go, "Hey,
Mhm.
don't you have more questions?"
Yes, exactly. Because, really when we're on that side of the thing, we don't know what to ask. We don't know what the risks are.
Hmm.
We don't know this. And so if we're placing ourselves in the hands of somebody else, we want to know that they are fully qualified. Now, I'm very much about the knowingness and going with your instincts and trusting your gut. And there's very much intuition comes into that. But if you're doing anything to the, brain surgery, I want you to be a qualified surgeon, right? So you want to know that the person is accountable on that other side, that knows what they're doing and knows how to in tune with the gut. No, this doesn't feel right. Doesn't
Hmm.
just do it carte blanche. And so
Hmm.
both things, but a lot of people is, oh, I can just learn how to do it by a YouTube. And here I am doing it, making money hands over fist, and then they get sued for a scar or sued for something else.
Hmm.
And how many does it take of that before they start regulating?
Right. Yeah. Well, exactly. And I mean, I think there is a level of regulation, like even with my insurance, it was very particular.
Hmm.
Because I mean, realistically, if I don't use my machine correctly, I can burn someone, I could blister
Yes.
them, I could scar them,
Yep.
so and some of those conditions can contribute to that. So I'm just surprised. I'm just
Yes.
surprised. That is a very high risk not to, suss out your
Know
client.
these things, know the
Yeah,
risks.
yeah, know the risks and know what you have in your hand. It's,
Yes.
so yeah, I'm glad I'm
It
certified.
was, but trillions of years ago, there was a show in England where this kind of laser thing had been slipped through the future and come into the hands of somebody in the 60s. And they discovered that this laser can do this and can do that and everything else. And it's really, really safe and making money hands over fist. And then one day on the other side, the girl, oh, we've got one missing. Where did it go? Oh my God, it went back to 1960. We need
Oh.
to pull the plug on it. It's not dangerous. Well, just at that time, she's going, look how safe it is. I can just go right through my neck. But it was kind of it's stuck in my mind. And it's like, it is that type of thing, is that just because something lands in your lap and it looks futuristic, doesn't mean you really need to do your due diligence on that. You also need to ask yourself, because obviously, if you are coming back a few times, there is a cost thing in that. And what you have to look at is how much does it mean to me? And like some people, oh, it's too costly, I can't do it. Fine. But is there something else you could give up? That this actually becomes something that in the initially doing it, the maintaining of it, that is part of your budget because the benefit of it outweighs the cost.
Right. I think I know for myself, I mean, this was like 30 years ago, it was $120 for my face. And
Right.
I used to save every penny because it was so crucial to my comfort
Mm-hmm.
and the hassle of tweezing and everything. So it was really a priority. I mean, I do consider what I do a luxury. It's a
Mm-hmm.
luxury industry, but I think there's certain levels where it's a necessity for someone. So a trans
Yes.
person, a person with PCOS or PCOS, and or somebody with like acne blemishes, or their face is super red and they're just
Yeah.
anybody where it affects their life negatively. This isn't a luxury. So those are the ones that, it's worth it. It's a necessity for them. The other ones, sometimes it's a luxury. And so, yeah, if something else is more important, great. But I think the ones that really, um,
Life
really
changing.
need, yeah,
Mm.
they find the funds. The one thing that I have done though is when I started my business, I compared my pricing for the across the whole island. Except Victoria, it's sort of its own little,
Yeah.
mecca there. But I made my prices competitive enough, not low to discredit the whole industry, but enough where it was affordable
Mm.
for middle class people,
Right.
so that they can have these opportunities. Because a lot of times it's like, well, $800 for the face, and the
Yeah.
person's like, well, but I guess I'm living with my blemishes, right? So I wanted it to make it more accessible for those who need it, who really
Hmm.
need it for their, their mental health and for
Yeah.
their confidence. But to where, I'm still being paid for my expertise,
Hmm.
but I'm not in this higher echelon where it's unattainable for people. So
Right. Only for the rich.
yeah.
And, if you've got a teenager that's, going through the acne and
Mm,
as I said, for some of them, it's just, horrible, confusing and the teasing and the
yeah.
horribleness they go through. It is worth every penny to give them back their dignity.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
I think, prioritization, how much does it mean to you?
Yeah.
If you have a lot of facial hair and you can't get rid of it and it really affects your self-esteem and your confidence and you going out and immersing in society,
Mhm.
this is something that you have to invest in. And I think it's coming down to, the putting the output, what the return is going to be long term, and
Mhm.
understanding it's worth the cost.
I agree. And I think also it comes down to who is serving them. So
Hmm.
they say people buy from people they know.
Yes.
So it's for me, it's getting the word out and for people to get to know me, and know that I'm a safe place. I think that makes it a lot easier as well. Because if you're going to a stranger for something embarrassing,
Hmm.
um, that's really hard sometimes. Or sometimes, like if you know the person, then you're like, I really don't want you to see that. So there's kind of those two ends of
Yes.
it. But realistically, if you didn't know anybody in the industry, but you can either read up online or see this podcast and go, oh, wow, she seems really
Mm.
nice. That helps a lot too for them to kind of even make that next step and go, okay, I'm going to put the money aside here. This is important. I found someone. Because, like it says on my website as well, is that the level of hairiness won't shock me
No.
because I have been hairy. So it's
Yes.
like and there's a level of dignity that I give all my clients. I'm not going to go,
Mm.
oh my gosh,
Yeah. Yeah.
that will never happen. And
Right.
I even had clients where they said they went somewhere else and they did that and they were so
Mm.
embarrassed. And I said, oh my
Exactly.
gosh.
Yes.
I just get excited with them when it diminishes. Like,
Mm.
oh my gosh, there's less this time. This is great. Um, so yeah, for anybody to come to me, yes, feel comfortable with me, but also know that honestly, there's no judgment and then there's no shock. You can't shock me. I challenge someone to shock me.
Hair
Yeah,
in places we didn't know about.
right? Yeah, yeah.
I've been to your studio. It's beautifully laid out. It's extremely welcoming. People can shower afterwards. They can have a cup of tea. They can feel relaxed. And so, just like the island vibe, which is more laid back and more true to thing, is the same experience coming to you. And, a lot of people go to high-end studios when they know the rent they're paying there is exhausting, and that's why they have to put it into their costs. And it's
Mhm.
like, here you're going to go and it's the area may going to make you chill, but you're just going into the studio where you feel relaxed. There isn't anybody that you feel, God, that's money walking by. That's money walking by, and you can see your own bill going higher and higher because of their maintenance, right? So it's a place where you can feel welcome, and it's clean and it's colorful and it's calming, and so you can feel really relaxed there while you go through the process.
I made a point of, I mean, I do like when you go into like a spa area and you have the big countertop and like it
Mm,
looks pretty. But what I find, I get tired standing at the counter,
yeah.
filling out my paperwork or talking to them. And I wanted to make it comfortable. So when you walk into my studio, I have a low desk so that you
Hmm.
can sit with me and we
Hmm.
can chat and we go over paperwork and things like that. I've always wanted it to be more consultative and connecting than
Hmm.
coming up to a tall countertop and they go, here, fill this out. I
Yes.
I
And
don't
then you
want to
can,
have
well, I'm awful with forms, and I've always put thing in the wrong area.
yeah.
And, but it also feels so impersonal. And then you've got a question and you don't quite know how to ask it, and they're too busy to actually answer you.
Hmm.
But they're very quick to say, and the bill is,
Yeah. Yeah.
before you've even seen anyone. So,
That,
yeah,
that's why I like to fill out the form with them.
yeah.
Is because then it will be filled out correctly, but then I can ask questions, but it also gives me time to connect with them.
Hmm.
And gives me a reason to ask personal questions, right?
Yeah.
So I would find it actually personally awkward to have them fill out the forms where it's saying personal information, their medical history, which I need to know, and then just invite them into a room with me, and I'm a total stranger,
Yeah.
and I do the work on them.
Mm.
That really makes me uncomfortable, to be honest,
Yes.
because I didn't get a chance to get to know them, and now I'm lasering them.
Right. So you
So
want them to feel at ease, you want yourself to feel at ease so
yeah,
that there isn't any uncomfortability in their vulnerability.
yeah, yeah. So I've made those steps on purpose to make it the most pleasant, the most calm. Because people come in nervous if they've never done laser. They're like, "Is it going
Right.
to hurt? Am I going to lose
Yeah.
a limb?" Like,
Yes. We've watched the movies.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have laser eyes?
Right. So
Yeah.
it gives us time to decompress, gives them time to decompress, even though I'm asking questions and we're talking, I think it gives the client an opportunity to go, okay, I'm getting to know the person who's going to be my laser technician, who's going to be doing laser on me. And so I just think there's a real benefit. We're in such a rush, rush, rush world. And
Yeah.
I know the island is lovely, is more lovely now because I came from the mainland as well, that we do allow time for the decompress and take things slower, and I appreciate that. It really does allow me to get to know my new client, and then it gives me time with them.
The one thing we don't see in industry enough is the giving of time.
Mm.
And I think, the greatest respect we can give is somebody time. I see you, I hear you, I'm really interested, and not next,
Yeah, and
right?
I'm not rushing.
Right, right. It's not, oh, my next client coming along, hurry up, I haven't got time for this. They may, in telling you the story, go more in depth than perhaps you asked, but
Yeah,
it's what they need to do. And, you're not putting up against the clock, you're giving them the time. And
yeah,
how many places can we go today where we can go, well, they really gave me the time to actually know what it is I needed.
yeah. No, I purposely set my schedule in a way for myself actually initially because I needed rest in between when I started my business.
Mm,
I was a bit unwell. So for me, I needed that. But what I realized that allows me is that if we go over time a little bit, I'm not stressed because I have a
yeah.
buffer. So yeah, those extra little conversations, the extra like not shoving them out the door and saying my next client's going to be here. And I think that also allows them to feel um, you might be able to help me with this because they're not seeing the next client. They're not being rushed out. It feels
Yes.
like it's just for them,
Yes.
right?
Personalized,
Yes.
customized.
Thank you. That's the
Yeah.
word. Yeah. So it
Yeah.
really does. Like they have their quality time with me. I'm not
Mm,
distracted. And then I get to serve them with full focus. And then they leave and I get a little bit of a buffer in between. And then I set myself for the next person so that I'm in a calm state and I'm ready. I found that worked for me. And so it makes my day a little bit longer for
yes.
me, but I honestly appreciate it because then I'm not looking at the clock, I'm not counting the minutes, and then my
Mm,
client doesn't feel that. They
right.
feel the relaxed, we're here.
Oh, they feel we spent so much time up front, she's going to rush through the laser.
Oh, yeah, no,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
So
So I
yeah,
hope
there's
clients feel that.
and you want people to come and have an experience, especially if they're coming back, for
Hmm.
an issue that needs to be addressed more often,
Yeah,
then you want to know that they look forward to it. That it's something relaxing and it's not like, oh God, I'm going to the dentist. Da, 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 da. You don't want that feeling. You want them to feel,
mhm.
I'm in trust here.
Yeah,
I'm in trust. And that's really, really big. Well,
yeah.
this is probably the reason why you've won a few awards. You've won Best Customer Service on Vancouver Island by Corporate Vision, Inspiring Wonder Woman by Women of Inspiration, and also Skin Rejuvenation Studio of the Year by the Corporate Live Wire. Now, these things don't get just handed out willy-nilly just because, you have to earn them.
Mhm.
So obviously it comes about from satisfied customers.
I would think so. I know when you're nominated that these companies they do the research.
Hmm.
So I know they're looking at the website, things like that, and just how clients are. And so yeah, I think there's an assessment and comparatively to other businesses,
Hmm.
right? So yeah, I'm very honored to win those, but I take pride in giving exceptional customer service. I feel it's important in the
I
service
100%
industry.
agree with you. I'm so tired of being a number and next.
Mm.
Oh, you've only got 10 minutes, you're only allowed one question, and I'm going to be distracted at the same time. No, we don't want that. Sometimes somebody goes in for one thing, and really you find out it's something else.
Mm,
right? And well, I've got this here, but really there's an issue over here, but they're too embarrassed or too scared to address it. But now
mm,
they feel at ease, they can actually address it. And you go, well, that really is one that we need to get started on, right?
mm,
But where they feel too uncomfortable because they've either been ridiculed or not listened or felt ashamed, all sorts of emotions that other people put upon them. And they've
mm.
really got to kind of let go of that and feel secure enough to trust that they're not going to get that judgment or that persecution.
Yeah. And I think that comes down again to buying from someone they know or that was
Exactly.
referred by someone they know because this day and age, you don't know until you meet them. And I think
Yeah.
that was the biggest important thing that I think that I learned at closer to the end of the year because I switched how I was sort of advertising is I'm networking. And I
Yes.
find people are like, oh, they come up to me after I do my presentation because I guess they connect or it feels warm enough or something and people are coming to me. So yeah, when someone's an abstract person or it's just a company name and they don't know,
Yeah.
some people hold back. They just wait. It's not the right time. But then if they meet a person and go, I do that, I can help you. And they feel comfortable with you. I find that helps a lot. Like
And and then even if they don't need your serious services, but they know somebody that does, they
yeah,
feel comfortable in referring. We're very nervous about referring these days
mm,
because, oh, I had a bad experience with them. Oh, shoot, I referred them,
yeah,
right? And so
yeah,
you want to know, no, I really do hear what this person has to offer. And this is the reason why I do my podcast,
mm,
for people to hear it from you, to
right.
feel your energy, your intent, your passion, your compassion, right? And if they really do feel it, whether they need the service or they know somebody else who needs the service,
Yeah.
then they've got a show to recommend, but also, they can feel, I heard them, and I think they really will benefit you, and they don't mind referring then
Right.
because they feel this person is authentic. And you're not being about the rah rah or the this or that. You're being honest and open. Yes, it may be a continual cost on certain things, but yes, your self-esteem comes first, your health,
Yeah.
that we're not jeopardizing your health. And it's all about you walking out there in confidence. And
Mm,
that's really what we want people to feel confident in who they are
yeah.
and not like, oh, what they've got that
Yeah.
they don't want to have.
Not having to mask, not having to hide.
Yeah.
And that was the one thing that I mentioned too, is because I have attention deficit disorder. And so I know there's a level of masking that people have. And I've had, some clients that they're anxious to come in because they have to mask.
Hmm.
And once we've had our talk, I'm like, please don't. Just
Yeah.
be yourself. And they're like, yeah, but sometimes I'm really down. I'm like, come on in. And I've even
Yes.
said, like, if you're unshowered and you're, stinky and you just made it and you're in your pajamas, I will treat you that way. Like, I'll treat you in
Yes.
that condition
Yeah.
and know that you're having a rough day. And it took
Yes.
everything to get here. Because I had one client, she's just like, oh, but I said, just come on in. Just come on in. Like, I don't care. Because I've been there. I've suffered from
Mm.
depression. It's like brushing your teeth and showering. And it's like, and I have an appointment.
Right.
What doesn't get done
Yes, exactly.
for me to get to the appointment?
Yeah.
So it's that kind of thing. Like I just want
Feel
people.
supported. They feel
Yeah,
supported, safe and supported.
yeah.
Right, no
I don't.
judgment. Like, how dare you come in your pajamas? No, it's okay. Where is it that we have to have permission to have a bad day? We have a bad day, and if you can't support me on that bad day, leave me alone.
Mhm. Yeah, I have one client which I love. This she wears warrior lipstick.
Hmm.
So when she is having a tough time, she puts on her red lipstick, puts her big girl pants on, and she does her day. So she had come in with lipstick on, and I said, "Rough day." She goes, "Oh yeah."
Yeah.
And it empowers her to just push. But I
Yes.
knew she had that on, and so I knew it
This
was a
is her
heart thing.
statement. Her
Yeah,
statement.
yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like putting your cape on, like she
Yes.
kind of did the lips and was like, I'm ready to go. So I rather people be able to be authentic and have vulnerable, weak moments because we're human. And honestly, I think they would get a lot of love and compassion for me when they do come in like that. Cause then I know now they're having a tough day. It almost ends up to like sort of, how bartenders hear about people's
Yes.
stories and things like that.
Hairdressers.
Yeah, a hairdresser.
Yeah.
I get the same opportunity.
Yeah.
And I love it because you know what? They're laying down there. They're on my table for a while. So when you're usually having those bad days, sometimes it's nice to be able to just come to have an ear and a shoulder and be like, all right, I'm having a bad day. Why? And it's for the ones
Or
that
even go somewhere where I don't want to say anything. Just
Yeah.
do your thing,
Just do
and
your thing. I made it.
yeah,
I don't want to talk.
yes.
And I just put soft music on and give them their blanket because I give pretty much everybody a blanket if they're cold, and just get them cozy, do the pampering, and then send them on their way. So yeah.
We don't see that kind of customer service in many places anymore, and it really, really is important. And I think, quite honestly, that's where the longevity comes in any business. It isn't about how much you made or how many people did you serve. It's how many people did you serve well. That repeat customers, referring customers, they still talk about you with a warm heart,
Mm.
and it's how many people's lives did you change, one laser at a time. And, that's really what counts. That's what I call the real enrichment and the real abundance. It's not about how much money you make or how popular you are, and, how big you are up on Google. It
Mm.
really comes down to it is how warmly do people speak of you and the experience they've had with you.
That's powerful.
Mm.
Yeah.
And that's where we should be. Now,
Mhm.
on the other hand, we are going to be doing a show in January, July. Gosh, no, we're not
July.
there, please.
Christmas in July. Yeah.
And in January, which will be aired. I'm going to just make sure I have this here. Hold on a second. So, yes, it will be aired on the 13th of January. And where we're going to be talking about the other side of you, which is music and a musician. And you are going to create a new intro and exit music for our shows, which is desperately needed. I've had beautiful people in the past, and I like to change it up. And the last music I got was some sort of generic, and I feel it's a downer. And I want something that's more upbeat and more inviting. And we're going to create something together, which is really exciting. But we're also going to be talking about your music, what kind of music you make, and how you make it, and why it's so important to you. This is your expertise. Music, is another passion of you, and where you want to take it and how you can make music for other people.
Mhm. I'm excited to do that.
Yeah.
Stay
So you got to
tuned.
come back and listen to that show. And of course, that one doesn't require you to be in person. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world if you want some music made or done for you. Most certainly she can do that for you. So there isn't the barrier. I always say to people, anybody who's offering services on the island
Mm.
is like, do yourself a favor, if you're down in the mainland or if you're coming for a trip, whatever, the island is just so vibrationally good vibrations. Is there something about the island that really roots, centers, cores you? And, taking that trip, and Qualicum is beautiful, and just taking that trip out there, making it a day trip, taking a weekend and coming, whatever, just, it's like incorporate it in as something and come and have the experience. Because once you know, we know because we met through networking, and the people that are in that networking, they've come from India, they've come from France, they've come from Australia, they've come from the mainland, they've come from back east, they've come from America. We've got people that have come from all over the place, and they've chosen the island, this center part, because it is so kind of downright earthy and welcoming, which is wonderful. And they can do their business, um, but they feel more seen, more heard, and that they can serve their clients better, which is, something about the island that gives you that gift, which is wonderful. So somebody that is within the vicinity or wants to come over and see you, do they book a phone call with you first? Do they book a time with you? How does it work, love? If somebody,
For the
maybe lives on the mainland, but they'd like to maybe have a talk with you before coming over, how's the process?
for music or for laser?
For the laser, the music, we'll talk about what
Okay.
they can get from you on the music show. They've got to come back to
Yeah.
that one.
Okay. In regards to, it's probably best for locals because of needing for laser hair removal, they need usually 6 to 8 treatments, and they're about a month apart. So unless somebody from the mainland is, traveling every time, but basically local, Oceanside from Courtney to Nanaimo is probably, uh, the demographic or the area that people would. They can go to my website, so www.lisse QB for Qualicum Beach.ca. So that's leaseqb.ca. They can find me on Facebook. So same thing, it's just Lease QB. So Facebook/Lease QB. If they know me personally, they can find me on Facebook as well. And but the website has my email, It has my phone number. It also has a button that they can book right online.
Mhm.
So if they're going to the particular service, if they want laser hair removal or laser skin rejuvenation, there's a button there. And I'm available for answering questions, anything like that. My studio is open by appointment, so
Mhm.
drop-ins are usually not, because I may not be here. So
Right,
I'd
exactly.
rather
Or
be
you
of
could be in a
service.
session,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
exactly. So because I'm a one-man show, I want to have my commitment to my client when they're here. So I usually do everything by appointment. But I'm online, so I'm accessible for people to reach out.
And you're on Instagram, Lisa,
I
L.
am. Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's like lease dot laser dot skin dot studio.
right.
Yeah.
And it's good to go on there and just kind of see the process, start the conversation. Maybe you want to kind of build up a bit of trust from that.
Yeah.
You've listened to the show, you would like more, you'd like to reach out and go, yeah, is this for me or not before I make a commitment? And then, then you can book the appointment to go further deep into it. It's okay if you only want to dip your toe in before you put both feet in, because
Mhm.
obviously, if they are committing to a few treatments, if they really want to see it work, and that, does mean that you do need both feet in. Yeah,
Yeah.
and to follow the process for it to really work and for it to be shown. So if you
Mhm.
need to ask the questions, ask the questions. If you want to hear more, hear more, because she wants you to feel comfortable. She wants you to, when you actually come in through that door and you go through that process, that you feel that you really want to be there and you haven't been pressurized into being there,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is important. It's personalization, it's customization, and what it's doing is giving you back your dignity, your self-respect, is giving you a new lease on life, whatever, from wherever you're coming from. And anything that kind of builds your self-esteem and makes you feel confident within yourself is going to have a ripple effect on all aspects of your life. And whereas sometimes we just think, I just have to live with it, is that some things you don't have to live with, right? You don't have to live with. You can go through the treatment and it can give you that, I don't have that burden anymore, right?
Mhm.
So, and that is important. If you don't have to live with it, why live with it? Right.
Mhm.
And it might be, okay, you know what? I need to budget for a certain period in order to do this, but that's you investing in yourself, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Right.
Mhm.
Give up the second latte.
Yep.
The latte with the cream and the bit on top that's going to cost you $10 a time,
Mhm.
right? Go for a drip coffee and save it up in no time. You'll have the money to go and do something that really is truly investing in you, and where you come out the other side of it feeling so much more self-assured, and in the way that you look and the way that you feel, and in the empowerment that you now feel with it. So please invest in yourself. Don't keep making excuses. So I'm looking forward to our next show and talking all about music. That will be under the For Love of Music genre, where we're going to be talking about the music that she's going to be doing for us, but what kind of music that she does do, and how it affects you, and how you could be a part of it, and how important music is to her. For me, very important in my life. It's my balance, my equilibrium. It's my meditation. So music is something that I think we all need in our lives. So, but we can have it in our business and, forever anything else that's there. So you come back on January, did I say 22nd? God, what date did I say?
14th, I think, is when
14th.
it'll air, or 14th it'll air. Yeah.
Yes, I quickly go back. Sorry, folks, I should have looked at yeah, the 13th,
Okay, 13th. Okay.
so that it will air, and we will talk about the music and hear the new intro music, and it would be quite exciting. So, it just shows you can be really good at one thing, and your passion and your conviction is there, but that's not all you are. We
Mhm.
are allowed to be something else as well, where we don't have to just do one thing, only focus on one thing. No, if you really have a passion for something, you can balance both. It's called yin yang, okay, as long as both of them serve each other. And so don't just pigeonhole people in one thing, folks, because then you're denying a lovely essence of who they are on the other side. So come back for the music, share the show. Somebody that's going through something. If you have a transgender community that's here on the island, share it out. Even probably people from the mainland, Victoria or anywhere like that, there aren't very many places where they feel comfortable and they're willing to take that journey to come over. So whatever it means to you, right? And how much it's going to mean to you at the end of it is really where the value is. So thank you so much, Celeste. for sharing here today. I wish you a wonderful Christmas, and to everyone else. And, maybe you don't know what to give somebody for Christmas, but they would love something like this. So, you can reach out and do a gift certificate. And if it's not Christmas, there's Valentine's, there's birthdays, there's anniversaries, there's many times. So look at it as a gift idea as well. And, we're all entitled to feel and look the best that we can. Right? Don't let anybody tell you it's vain and you shouldn't. If something's bothering you and it really is getting in the way of you feeling confident with yourself, go and do something about it. So until next time, thank you, Celeste.
Thank
And
you.
to everyone else out there, have a wonderful Christmas and a new year. We'll see you back in January. Bye for now. We hope that you enjoyed the show. There are so many more for you here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. Just go to the podcast tag at the top there and you will see all the many genres and all 3,000 shows ready for your listening. We are here to serve you, to help you on your journey of life, and we know that through inspiration it begets invitation. We are supported by you, the listeners, and those that we interview. Anything that you can spare us in donation would be greatly accepted, and we do hope that you enjoy the next show.